One man rule really means the flow of unfiltered information and criticism from society to the top will become increasingly constricted, and this will be of no benefit to China.
I think on the economy, you're going to continue to see him focus on state-led initiatives, and his focus on self-sufficiency to kind of decrease China's vulnerabilities to the outside world, and especially the United States. On foreign policy, you're going to see him continue to aggressively try to undermine the U.S. rules-based order and push back American global power. I think you're going to see China continue to forge a relationship, for instance, with Russia, despite all the problems that Vladimir Putin is facing right now. And I think what that means for Washington is that dialogue with China is going to continue to be very, very challenging, and China is going to continue to take an adversarial stance on more or less every area of policy that the U.S. would be concerned about.
I think that what we'll keep seeing is China's continued push for self-reliance and self-sufficiency in key emerging technology and foundational technology areas that they've laid out in key strategies and policies of the past 5-10 years. In terms of artificial intelligence, China has indeed made significant progress. However, the arguments around quality versus quantity, I think, are really prevalent here. Although we see China moving up the global scale in terms of patenting in artificial intelligence as well as in publications, we still can question whether or not it has reached the same type of quality that we see coming out of other leading artificial intelligence nations. However, I think the Chinese government is very much aware of this. They are very much aware of their choke points in key science and technology areas and broader parts of the technology supply chain. So I think moving into the 20th Party Congress era, we should see China working to address these very niche and very specific choke points.
Well, one domain I'm always watching carefully is the development of the macroeconomy, and in particular, Beijing's efforts to move to rebalance the economy and move towards a more consumption-driven economy. I'm afraid that the trend lines that we've seen so far, which are not good, which is very, very little progress at all on building a more consumption-driven economy, are likely to continue. It means that the reliance that we've seen for quite a few years in the Chinese economy on debt and also on investment are likely to continue. And that is not good news at all for the economy longer term, and potentially could even be destabilizing.
I'm focusing on some of the issues that have made the recent economic downturn worse, issues largely the result of government policy. For example, the zero COVID policy, the lingering effects of the government crackdown on the big internet and e-commerce companies, and the effect of various government policies on the very sharp downturn in the property market. But really, I expect it will be 2023 when the National People's Congress meets that we will start to see more significant changes of direction and policy if they're going to come.
There are a number of things that I'm looking at with regards to the environment and climate and the declarations that I think are going to come out in that 20th Party Congress. For sure, with China being an ecological civilization, that's written into their constitution, they are going to progress further declarations and pledges that will get them to achieve their goal of being a beautiful China. And also in moving from what had originally been quite a defensive strategy on climate change and environmental action into one that's being a much more offensive strategy. And one of the indications of this most recently, last year, after or in the lead up to COP26, was the 1+N framework for their dual goals of carbon peaking by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2060. And so we've seen a number of these N sector documents come out, their overarching guidance and action plan, and these undoubtedly we're going to see further developments in these areas.
So I'm looking to how effectively Xi Jinping is able to consolidate power, as has been much discussed in these forums, and how that consolidation of power will translate to a more hardline approach to Taiwan. More specifically, I think in the short term, I'm interested in seeing what exactly those hardline approaches are and how that trickles down to the local levels, as Taiwan has a 9-1 local election on November 26th, and what that means going forward into the more important and I guess more cross-strait focused national level elections in January 2024.